don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 470th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and we have a lot to get to you tonight. I'm sorry I was not here last night. I had some things that I was dealing with and looking into information that we will be talking about tonight. We have a lot of different odds and ends that we're going to get to. Before we get there, I do want to ask that you please consider smashing that like button, smashing the like button, giving us a little bit of love. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. We are generally here 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m., but we also release other content throughout the day and time, so you'll want to smash that bell as well. If you want to communicate with us, you know you can do that over here on the side if you're here live being it's Tuesday, June 17th at 9 p.m. If you're here via the replay button in the future, you'll want to comment down below. And we've got a lot to get to. I have a whole entire show designed and set up. Prior to doing that, though, I forgot that yesterday I had told Katherine that we could do a show before everything going on in Madison County. So we have a little bit of an issue where I had 2 shows planned at the exact same time. So instead of doing that, we're going to give Katherine a few minutes to jump up here and give us a quick Madison County announcements thing. So we're going to bring Katherine up here and let her do her damage while I also type some stuff over here to the side. No, you're muted.
Okay, so this is going to be really quick. I just got some more footage that just came in at the same time that this was going on, so I'm going to use that. But let's start with the first thing is there's a big building change that's going on for tomorrow night's meeting. So that it's not going to be in the Emory Lee building anymore. So if you are familiar with the fairgrounds in Madison County, it's going to be where we do all the voting. So it's going to be in that bigger pavilion where we do the voting and the vote centers and everything. So it's going to be in the exhibit hall. So everybody knows it's over, it's the big building in the main entrance. Don't go to the Emory Lee building. And it is quite a bit of difference from the 2 buildings. So that's where this is going to be. It's going to still be at 6 o'clock. My understanding is Olivia Pratt is supposed to be running the show for tomorrow night. Not really sure why it would be Olivia Pratt. She is a district. She is District 1's commissioner. So I tend to get those backwards.
But they're countywide.
You do vote for them countywide. Why she would put herself on this in this position tomorrow night, because she is up for election. So I don't know why she wouldn't push this back to Richwine, because this is Richwine's district.
You would think so.
It's Richwine's screw up. And I just want everybody to know that this is a big thing. Now, it's funny because somebody also told me that there were some news clips for this meeting on the radio, and all they said was only the Scotts Phillips editions needed to show up. Nobody else in Monroe Township needed to show up. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I'm hoping that I can get a copy of that. So I want everybody to know this I will have on live tomorrow night. So I want everybody, I hope that you will be able to tune in if you cannot make it. It's very important for this to be a packed house. And I'm assuming that's why they moved it from Emory to this bigger building, because I think they're going to have a bigger turnout than they could have imagined. So that's the big thing with that one. The next thing is how do we beat this project? I mean, this is a situation that Commissioner Richwine has, through the years, through decades, has neglected. And I don't believe that his incompetence and neglect should be at the expense of the taxpayers. So this drainage system that's up there is going to be anywhere from $10 to $20 million to fix this. Okay. What I want you to know is that they've spent that money alone on, they still have $4 million of park trails they could apply to this. They have $9 million from the jail that they could apply to this. Because remember, ARPA money towards jails is illegal. You're not allowed to do that. If this place gets a federal audit, this is going to be very interesting to watch. So
it's going to be strange.
Yeah. So they've used, so right there, that already takes us to 13 million. You know, if they wouldn't have got the RV and the pole barn, I mean, I can show you all the places where we could have gotten this money and put it. Now, there's an Indiana code that's in my second post. This Indiana code tells us how we can push back to the commissioners and at least stop this for now until we can figure out that the commissioners are going to have to pay for this and not on the back of the taxpayers.
Is that the Alexandria Monroe Township thing?
Yeah. What people need to understand is this is not just a short-term situation.
Oh, no, yeah.
That if you live on a farm, if you live in areas where you weren't used to paying utility bill, this will be for generations to come, hundreds of years from now, because you don't ever see them take stuff back. So this is why I want people to understand. This is the Indiana code. Once the commissioners file their petition or whatever, we have 180 days to get 51% of the landowners to sign the petition. People, you need to understand, when you sign this petition, you are against this utility. Like this is a big deal. You'll be named on this, okay? And what you need to know is that only the people who own land. So if you're a renter, but you don't own the land, then it gets a little tricky, right? So you have to own the land in Monroe Township to sign this petition. We need 51% of the people to do that. There's about 5,800 people in Monroe Township. So you're going to need, around 4,000 or, well, I guess less than that. At first it was 3/4. So you're going to need a little bit less than that. Maybe around.
I'm going to tell you, if you guys are out helping with this and taking this, get 3 times the amount that you need.
Yes.
Because you will get people that'll do it and don't live there, or they are renting or something screwed up. And they'll throw out every name they possibly can. So you don't want to chance it. Yeah.
And so you want to make sure they're writing legibly, make sure all that's going on. We will have an Alexandria Total Care. It's a body shop. Nathan Hollingsworth owns that. I can't remember the whole name of his body shop. He will have this petition out that people can stop by and get that. Lisa Summers will have this petition with her at all times, so you can sign that. Of course, if you want to come down to Lapel, I do have a fair amount of, and I'll be asking the Alexandria people as they come through, if they want to sign that. Some of you may want to take the petition and go door to door to get these. This is very important. So this is, if you go to my page, you'll be able to read this in more detail. This is a big deal. So this kind of tells you the flow chart of how they go through this process. And then I gave you an example of what happened in Tippecanoe recently and where we're at in the stage process. Listen, Richwine thinks he's got this in the bag. He does not have this in the bag, people.
Sure.
You can show up and you can fight this. So the thing is people need to start asking, where has all the drain money gone?
Yeah.
There are about 370 some drains in the county, give or take. 170 of those drains are not on maintenance. What does that mean? That means that nobody's been taking money out of your property taxes to maintain those drains. Now, everybody's been aware of this, but nobody's been fixing it. Ken Kaczynski takes over as surveyor, and he's like, wait a minute here, we got a problem. So now he's trying to figure out how to fix this. It's not that he's not trying. So to blame the surveyor, you got to look at the surveyors before that and who was actually running that office. And who actually was running that office? John Richwine. There's no question of that. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. I want to show you, I think number 17 on this one. Keep going to number 17. Christopher, turn the pages right there. If you can read that, Christopher, because
notice in public meeting. Petitioner has provided notice and conducted a public meeting as required by Indiana Code 1326-2.5 before the filing of this petition. The public meeting was conducted on September 9th, 2024 at the East Tip Middle School at 7501 East 300 North Lafayette, Indiana. Notice this was published, mailed, and broadcast in the manner.
And so this is where we're at in that process. Okay.
Yeah.
So this means that, you can push back, get all those signatures. And this is, that's where we're at right now, is how many signatures can we get to implement this Indiana code that I just talked about? So I just wanted to give you guys an example. It can be done. You can beat these people. Christopher, I just sent you a video of somebody just sent me this video. And this is part, I did the whole Wyckoff's area where they're the ones being hit. That's where IDEM is. This is down the street. This is a business owner who tried to get help today and was pretty much told it was all his responsibility. Like he needs to deal with it. Listen, there's toilet paper flowing through this. It's a 40-second video. Watch these drains. I haven't posted. I just got these.
Jesus.
This is toilet paper that you see there. And look at that drain. It's just.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's just, and this has got sewage in it, people. If you were there taking the video, you would see the toilet paper, the sewage, all the backup. It went into the building. And this is all in that same area where the Wyckoff's drain is being affected.
That is totally crazy.
So, and I've got way more footage. I know we're kind of a little bit ramped for time tonight. But the one thing that I wanted everybody to know is this only continues when it's allowed to continue by the people. You can stop all of this. And I'm going to tell you something, because I want to end with this video right here, if we can. It's about 30 seconds. And let me send this to you. The abuse of privileges, the abuse of taxpayer money.
Where have you sent it?
It's to Messenger, to the same thread. It all comes down to John Richwine, Rick Gardner, Darlene Likens, Olivia Pratt. These commissioners are so out of control. You should have watched the commissioners meeting. It was 15 minutes long. That's all you have for the public. We pay you $50,000 a year for each one of you with full benefits. And so look at this, because while all the county is flooding and we've got potholes and we've got all these issues, I want to show you what it looks like out in front of John Richwine's house on a road that does not even look like it needs to be paved. And so I went over there. This was just 2 nights ago. This is literally his road. This is the abuse that you are allowing to take place when you do not speak at commissioners meetings and you allow him to silence you. And tomorrow night, this meeting's for the public, and you people need to start demanding some answers.
Yeah.
And I say you because I don't own land in Monroe Township. I was asked to come and help with this situation.
Sure.
And get the public aware. So do you
still waiting on the video?
Really?
Yep. I've sent you 3 question marks.
Is it not there?
Nope. Your one video is 40 seconds. Send it someplace else?
No, I sent it to you.
Try sending it just to my private messenger.
Okay. There you go. So this is just a big deal, but I want all of you to see the abuse. Again, like Kristopher, an educated community is very dangerous to a corrupt government system. Tomorrow night, you should be asking why we have all the money to pave his roads, but no money to fix your drains. This is a threat to human health. And the fact that IDEM started finding them 3 years ago and nothing's been done, this is a problem when you see this thrown in your face.
There we go.
Payers and everybody in between. I just want everybody to know I am out. Hey, Madison County voters, taxpayers, and everybody in between. I just want everybody to know I am out here on 900 North, just down from John Richwine's house. You won't believe any of this. Let's take a look right here. Let's turn this camera around. Let's look here. Do you know that this road over there is John Richwine's farm? Look at this. It's being paved. Even when you come and look at these, the road's not even that bad. This is where your taxpayers are going. Your dollars are going to finance everything of John Richwine. So may you all see.
This is like his driveway.
So that car that's coming out was his driveway.
Yeah.
That car, yeah, was car. And so here I've got my blinkers on, and then they're standing there staring at me, and I'm like trying to get out of the middle of the road. I think somebody's going to come and hit me because there's nowhere to pull off. I wasn't going to pull in somebody's driveway because it would be trespassing. So I just pulled over on the side of the road, jumped out on this county road, and I did it. But there was not one chuck hole. I drove that whole area that was being paved. There was not one problem with the unasphalted.
Yeah, it didn't look like a bad stretch of road. Just what we saw there.
Yeah, and I kind of was in a hurry, so my words were getting all jumbled because I was like watching for cars and I didn't want to get hit, and it was already 8:45 p.m. Again, tomorrow, I hope we have a great turnout. If you can't be there, I hope that you will share the video. Some of you who are on here tonight, even though you don't live in that area, you guys always have great thought processes. So if you could get on and make your comments, that would be helpful too, because it helps other people think. So thank you for everything, and I know you're getting on to a bigger show.
Tomorrow, tell them where again?
So tomorrow it's at 6 p.m. and it's at the exhibit hall. So it's where we all vote at. So it's the
in Alexandria.
Building. In Alexandria, come in the main gates. That's where it's at. So they've changed buildings. So it's on the fairgrounds. So if you vote up there, you know what building that is.
Okay. And then tell them what's happening on Thursday as well.
On Thursday, the Tea Party out at Pendleton, at the Falls of Pendleton, Governor Braun will be there with Kyle Pierce, and then and I forget the other state rep that'll be there. They will be there, and they're going to have a cookout. So everybody that is this is an open meeting. It's the Tea Party meeting. It's free to the people. You need to come over, talk with Governor Braun, tell him how much you've enjoyed the increased property assessments and the movement of this money real quick. So come out there, let the governor know how you feel about your tax dollars, and that you enjoy opening your pocketbooks wider and wider by the second.
Yeah, right. Hey, it's a Democrat.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
And that's the whole thing there. So I just want somebody to ask Braun when ICE will be visiting his company that he owns. I'm being told that there's several immigrants there. I don't know if there is or not, but I mean, and I personally don't, whatever, but if Braun's going to lead, he better lead by example.
Yeah, right.
And that's just what I feel. So
Well,
hopefully everybody will be able to come out to that on.
I am going to try to
Thursday
go to
night.
both of those, and we will set up a time after that, either Thursday evening. Well, Thursday evening will probably be late, but Friday or maybe Saturday to have you on and discuss, kind of break down those two things and give you an entire show to do that.
And I just want everybody to know, if you all want to know why we really are fighting this, this is the message that I received from the House that is pretty much condemned. Larry Davis will not let them go on their property assessment and their taxes, the property taxes, even though it is uninhabitable. I just want you to know that this is what the message I want to send, because this can come to your house. This has contaminated that whole area over there. Okay. The ground has surely contaminated the water pocket. We had to buy a 1,550 gallon tank, water tank, to be filled every 2 months for over $200 each fill. The water tank alone cost us $2,000. If we could just make the county fix the freaking sewage pipe. These people are idiots. Well, they are. I really want them to spend a week living there. And I agree with that. The officials would never live like this. Why are we allowing them to have us live like this?
Right.
I mean, he's getting new paved roads. I know some of you people have probably never even had your roads paved where you're at.
Oh, yeah.
That's how crazy this is. So I just want you to know that this is a big deal. And I've got so much more information on this, but we'll see how tomorrow night goes. And I just appreciate you letting me start your show off.
No problem. Thank you much. We'll have you back on later this week, and we'll break it all down.
All right. See ya.
Thank you. Yep. Have a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Katherine Callahan doing her thing, taking, it's like the Beatles song, take a sad song and make it better. And she's like, take it 10 minutes and make it 20. Good Lord. Hey, it's just when you got the gift of gab, it is what it is. I'm the same way. I can't beat her over the head too bad because I'm horrible at that. So, all right, that's important. We will follow that. We will have her back on, and we will break it all down. I'm going to be so pissed off if I drive all the way to go meet Braun and his ass doesn't come, because he has a bad habit of doing that. So hopefully he'll be there. I'm hearing he'll be there. I'm hearing people are saying he's going to be there. I'm not going to be holding my breath. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm going to be looking at I just now for the first time got the comments up. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Hopefully I'll get a chance to ask him about that question with Micah. Micah today is somewhere down in Georgia doing a convention of lieutenant governors, going down there and learning to be lieutenant governors. You know what's crazy to me? One thing I can say about Micah, right or wrong, is if somebody bitches about him enough, if you out there in the public get on social media, and if you say something about him once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, and you tag him, he will get a way to call you. He will call you. He'll call you up and give you like a, hey, it's me. Can I come over to your house and talk to you about why you don't like me? Like this dude is so not an actual, like, it's crazy, right? I've spent my entire life bitching about these elected officials that will not talk to us, won't give us the time of day. The problem is Micah will call and he'll tell you a bunch of stuff, but he won't listen to you. So where the other ones just say, I don't want to hear you and I don't want to talk to you, Micah has the communicating down, the part where he's talking, but he doesn't have the listening down. So he'll talk, he'll call you, but it's crazy to me that he does that. Like if someone says something bad about the lieutenant governor, he's coming to find you and he's going to talk to you about it. It's crazy to me how he does that. Spend a little bit less time worrying about what everybody in the state is saying about you and do your job. Do your job, Micah. Call me and talk to me about it, but do your job. Okay, so first up, I want to say tomorrow between 11:15, about 11:15, I will be joining Kendall and Casey on 93.1 WIBC, and we'll be talking about First Amendment rights. We'll be talking about specifically First Amendment rights and how it pertains to social media and holding your government accountable. We'll be talking about the situation with Henry County Sheriff John Sproles. If I'm able to squeeze in a little bit of context about others, I'm going to talk about like J.D. Prescott, maybe Dan Ridenhour. I don't know. We'll see what goes on. But if you're interested in hearing that live on the radio and you're in Indianapolis, Central Indiana, East Central Indiana, you can listen to that at about 11 o'clock. I think it's going to be about 11:15. We'll be on air 11:15 tomorrow. So that'll be 11:15 on Wednesday. I'll be on with Kendall and Casey. We'll be talking about that. I'll also we'll play it tomorrow evening or something. I'll put it out so you'll be able to hear it. If you don't get them, if you're in someplace else and you want to listen, you can listen online by going to YouTube and typing in Kendall and Casey Show or 93.1 WIBC. It's very easy. So you can go on there and listen to that. And that's there. So I wanted to definitely put that there. William Wise, are you sure they know? You know what? Are you sure they? No, I'm not sure they know what their job is. I don't know. Or you're talking about the lieutenant governor. I think that's who you're talking about. I'm not sure that he knows that. But I wish that's the part of the listening. If he talks, but he needs to do the listening. And if he would listen and absorb, maybe he would learn that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Rob and I get along. It'll be great. It'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. Good times to be had by all. Do you want me to? I feel like I shouldn't do this. We've already done the interview. The interview will air tomorrow. I probably shouldn't have said that. Like, I don't like breaking the fourth wall or getting rid of movie magic. I always thought it would be great to, like, I could do somebody in. I'd be like, yeah, I was on the radio, and no, I wasn't over there beating them in their house. What do you mean? I was on the radio. We've already done the interview, so yeah, tune in. I'm not going to tell you any more about that. It'll be good. It'll be a good run. It'll be about 11:15. So check that out, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Okay, on to tonight's biggie stuff. So we have tonight, we're going to be talking about the Delaware County GOP's op-ed that Tim Overton released today. If you are a weekly, daily listener to the show, or you catch them every now and then and you catch up or whatever, you will know that sometime last week, I don't exactly know when it was. It's been a week ago. We talked about the Delaware County Democrat chairman, the Democratic Party chairman, Andrew Dale. He released what in the hell? Oh God, sorry. I'm scrolling through. I'm looking through something, and I'm scrolling through Facebook and just saw some weirdness. Jesus. It's up. It's always crazy shit going on. Okay, so couple days last week, Andrew Dale released his op-ed, and basically he's saying that this vote center debate, it's been up for debate for several years now. And the Democrats were against it. The Republicans were against it. The Democrats 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 were against it. And then finally, right when it seemed like it was going to happen, last year or the year before, about 2 months before the election, which seemed like a horrible time to try to implement it, the Democrats actually defeated it. And I actually agreed with them defeating it that time because there was some weirdness that was currently going on that I didn't agree with, and I don't think anybody would have. Basically, they didn't have the last couple centers set, and they wanted them to agree with it, which I technically don't think is legal by what the Indiana law says. And then they were going to have Rick just name the places after it was agreed to. Well, I don't agree to that, and I don't think they should have agreed to that because I think everyone should know where it's going to be up front before they agree. So I was okay with Ashley Nichols, who I generally do not like or like anything she does. I was okay with her killing that at that time. Well, now here this is up for discussion again, and it's a big ordeal. Andrew Dale's op-ed came out on the 12th. That was Thursday the 12th, so it was just a couple days ago. Well, we went through that, and if you want to see what I said, you can go look at social media, look at my post that says the vote center debate is heating up. That was from June the 12th. And now today, it's the Republicans' turn. The Republican Party chairman, newly appointed, just like Andrew Dale, the newly appointed Republican chairman, Tim Overton, has put out his op-ed, and just like we did with Andrew Dale, we're going to read through this together and look and see, is he going to win us over? What do we think? So his op-ed is called "A Call for Fairness and Clarity in Early Voting Decisions." Delaware County Republicans and Democrats are negotiating vote center locations with disagreements on the early voting sites. Key points. Republicans advocate for the Muncie Fieldhouse because of its central location, accessibility, and the ample space, while Democrats prefer First Presbyterian Church near Ball State University. As the Republican chairman for Delaware County, I consider it a privilege to serve our growing community. Our party continues to expand, and we are seeing more centrist Democrats and independents joining our ranks. As local Democratic leadership aligns increasingly with the far left in Washington, we anticipate continued growth in Republican support at the local level. Recently, a published Democratic op-ed acknowledged the ongoing negotiations between our two parties regarding the voting centers' locations. While we have reached consensus on nearly every site, one key issue remains unresolved: the location for early voting. Democrats are advocating for First Presbyterian Church near Ball State University, while Republicans support the historic Muncie Fieldhouse. The Fieldhouse is centrally located, well known to residents, and offers ample parking space. Generally, but right now it doesn't. It will in the future, but okay, I'll play nice. Significantly more accessible. It's significantly more accessible than the county clerk's office, which has limited space and inconvenient parking. Which is weird because right now I thought we were in the process of comparing First Presbyterian to the field house. So that kind of all of a sudden he threw in the clerk's office, which is kind of weird. All right, let's move forward. We believe the field house offers the most practical, equitable solution. In fact, in the spirit of cooperation, Republicans have already agreed to Democratic Chairman Andrew Dale's proposal to add 2 additional vote centers elsewhere in the county. We now ask that Democrats reciprocate by supporting the Fieldhouse as an early voting site so preparations can proceed smoothly and efficiently. There are understandable concerns about the motivations behind the push for First Presbyterian Church. Mr. Dale has recently aligned the Democratic Party with Muncie Resist, a group that has taken extreme positions, including involvement in the disruption of Muncie Town Hall event for Representative Victoria Spartz, given the group's ideological agenda and history of protest activity, locating an early voting site near campus raises valid concerns about potential disruptions and the perception of partisan influence. Creating a healthy distance between early voting and radical Muncie resist groups is prudent. Republicans remain committed to ensuring that every eligible voter in Delaware County has the opportunity to cast a ballot easily and securely. That commitment includes providing an accessible, neutral early voting location and resisting any efforts, intentional or not, that could be perceived as conferring a political advantage. The Muncie Fieldhouse is a practical choice that accommodates large numbers of voters without burdening the county clerk's office. For these reasons, I remain firmly in my recommendation to designate the Fieldhouse as an early voting location. This location best serves the majority of Delaware County voters. We are prepared to maintain the current voting arrangements if necessary, but we hope for reasonable resolution before future election cycles. Republicans desire to reach an agreement with Andrew Dale soon, one that prioritizes voters, not partisan advantage. Okay, so weird. Oh, am I screaming? Someone should have been telling me that. Am I screaming to you? Sorry. Sorry, my babies. So here's the deal. I, for the 10 billionth time, am a former Republican, libertarian-ish conservative, conservative-ish libertarian. It's about, it's a horse apiece. All right. Just the way I can say it. I don't know. One day I'm kind of more libertarian. One day I'm more conservative. Okay. And I have to say, I'm not a fan of many party chairmen, be it Democrats, be it Republicans, be it libertarians. Yeah, Kate flipped me off. Kate's the only party chairman that I actually like. She's a Libertarian Party chairman, and she's easy to talk to, doesn't bug me, and it's easy. So the thing is, I have to be honest, and when I say this, Tim Overton has made more attempts to speak with me directly than any other Republican chairman ever has in Delaware County. So I appreciate that, and I hope that continues, even if and when I criticize him, because I appreciate that communication, and that's what we need. He needs to do that for his party. At the same time, I will say I've never had a problem speaking with Andrew Dale. Andrew Dale and I have no issues talking, and we talk, and he's reached out to me. He's been responsive when I've reached out to him. So as far as both of these chairmen at least attempting to communicate, I feel like they so far are doing better than any of their predecessors. Okay. That being said, both of the op-eds, in my opinion, here's the thing. Let's have a meeting. It's not changing. My opinion is not changing from the last time we talked about this. Let's set the meeting. One of the weird things that I see here in Tim's op-ed is he's like, we want to make a deal with Andrew. Hey, the deal's not with Andrew. And the deal is not for Tim to make. Tim appointed a person to the election board. This is the job for the election board. Let's call the meeting. And I want to explain this. And I so hope that Tim is listening to this. And Tim, when you and I talked, I asked you why not hold the meeting. And I didn't understand your answer when you told me, and I still don't understand it. And I'm gonna be clear here. Don't do this thing where you're like, we need to agree and then have the meeting. No. What you need to do is you need to call a meeting, tell your boy Pete Drum to call a meeting, or Rick Spangler and Dan Gibson need to get together, because the election board meeting in Delaware, in the election board in Delaware County, is Republican Pete Drum, Democrat Dan Gibson, and the elected clerk Rick Spangler. So there are 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat. And the people that can call the board meeting is either the chair, Pete Drum, or the other 2 board members. One of them can't do it, but they 2 can together. Some grouping of you, be it the chair or be it the other 2, need to call a freaking meeting. Set a meeting, say it's going to be discussion time, and set it for when people can be there. Set it for when the majority of the people can be there, and tell people that it's supposed to be for them to come and give their opinions on what they think about all of this, and then do what the public wants for a change. If you're both concerned about making things different, and so far I'm seeing some, why don't we start with listening to the public? Now, I will tell you that argue out in front of the public. Let the public help you make the decision. Absolutely, Kate. That's great. Absolutely. Now, I will tell you, after we got off the air on Thursday the 12th, Jackie Fisher, great listener, always communicates very, very clear about what's going on, pays attention to a lot of stuff. You know, you guys are really good because you guys are really in tune. She got a hold of me and she said, hey, have you heard about this meeting that the League of Women Voters is holding? And I said, no, I didn't know anything about it. She was like, yeah, the League of Women Voters is holding a meeting. And now, normally I would say the League of Women Voters are a bunch of, well, I won't say it. They're the same people that are all concerned about the solar deal, and they're, whatever. Okay. But I got to say, they want to hold a meeting about this, and they're trying to do the right thing. So I applaud them. I applaud them in their effort to what they're doing here. And so I want to say that I thought that I posted it. Let me see if I put it under, I don't know where. Okay, so anyways, let me just double check here. Well, damn, I guess I didn't. I guess, okay. So anyways, the Republican, the League of Women Voters was going to get together and hold an event in which they had the Republican, the Democrat, and the clerk come. Okay. And I'm trying to go down here to, there we are. There's Jackie's comment. Pull this up. Okay. Yeah, right here. Let me read this to you. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen, let you see it. Hold on here. Oh, they've canceled it. Jackie, are you here? Did you know it? So they were going to hold the League of Women Voters was going to be holding an event. And the event that they were going to be holding was an event, and it was going to be held this Wednesday the 18th, so tomorrow at 7 p.m. And it was going to be held at the Marion Hunt Library, and it was supposed to start at 7 p.m. And they already had it put out there, and they said that the panel would be Andrew Dale, Rick Spangler, and Jessica Piper. Wait a minute. What? Why is Jessica Piper going to be there? Why is this not going to be Tim? Why wouldn't it be Andrew Dale, Tim, and Rick? That makes sense. Rick, are you not... Tim, did you not agree to go to this meeting? If so, why? And now I need to know, why is it canceled? Did Jessica back out? Did Rick back out? I need to know from the League of Women Voters, who I just call a whole bunch of old biddies and crazy people. Now I take all that back. You're all wonderful people. Please get in contact with me and tell me who pulled out of this. I still think you're crazy. I don't care, but let's get down to the bottom of this. Why is this now canceled? Because I just went to their, I just went to look for their thing. I did post it, but I guess it's gone. I don't know how they would have deleted it for me. Anyways, it's no longer up there. It said the link that you were looking for is no longer can be found. And when I go to the, I did remind it, writing it down on my meeting thing, and I do have it there at 7 p.m. And I went back and looked at Jackie's thing. They have now deleted that. It's no longer up there. Ooh, I now need to know why. Well, okay. Bottom line. I'm not okay for throwing shit at the new Democrat people for what the old Democrats used to do. So I don't like that, because there's a bunch of Republicans running around doing that, holding Andrew accountable for what the old Democrats did. You can't do that. But you also can't hold the Republicans accountable for what the old Republicans did or whatever. And we just have to take it at face value. I do not believe that Tim's op-ed was very... I don't believe that Tim's op-ed, it doesn't change many minds, in my opinion. I feel like the opinion was more pointed towards Tim kind of taking shots at Andrew Dale rather than Tim convincing the public why we should have what we want. But at the end of the day, no one reads the Star Press anymore. The op-eds don't matter. And the bottom line is, let's have a meeting. Absolutely, Stumblefoot. You most definitely can. Let's have a meeting. The other thing I think that people are I think that there's a confusion, because I'm here. So here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that there is some talk that they want to move early voting. You know how right now we can go to the clerk's office? They want to make the clerk's office no longer the headquarters for the early voting. They want to make it at the field house. So they want to move it from the clerk's office to the field house. And then we would always go to the field office for early voting. To me, I don't know who wants to do that. That doesn't make a bit of sense. That does not make a bit of sense. Okay. Someone said, "Well, I don't like the fact that you got to go through the metal detectors, and you can't wear your gun in." Okay, well then guess what? Don't vote early and wear your gun into your regular polling place, and the problem is solved. Okay, I wear a gun in when I go vote, no issue. But I vote at the Hamilton Township Volunteer Fire Department, and there's nobody there patting me down. It's not illegal to wear your gun in to go vote. Now, technically, somebody needs to change what's going on at the old Delaware County building, because there's no longer a court inside that building. So technically, I need to talk to Guy Relford about this, the gun guy, because technically we should be able to wear guns into the old county building. We'll talk about the old county building here in a minute. But this is just a really weird thing. I just don't like doing all of this back behind the scenes talking and all this stuff going on. What I want to happen, here's what I want to happen. I want to have a meeting, maybe a couple meetings, where we hear what's going on the record. We have the stakeholders there and the public there, and everybody's around doing what we do, and then we can get to the bottom of what's going on. I also want to make sure that everybody involved with this is doing what they need to be doing, and they understand fully the law, because I think that there are some issues where one or both sides is not fully understanding what the law on this says. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pop this up. I knew I saved these back here. All right. Yeah. William Wise, can you wear your gun to vote in Randolph County? As long as your voting center is not a prohibited location, such as a school, although I think they're working on removing schools from most of the places now. I don't think in Randolph County there are any. But if I don't quite remember where all of the vote centers are, where do you vote? You vote at the field house, right, Kate? I can't remember. Here's the bottom line. Go ahead.
I don't believe there are any schools as vote centers in Randolph County anymore. I don't think so. It's churches, the 4-H ground. I think field house was in the courthouse.
Yeah. Okay. The 4-H fairground, you could definitely.
Schools, so I think the only place that might be touchy is the courthouse.
The courthouse.
You're not going into the courthouse part of things. So.
Yeah, well,
it's just down there in that little lobby.
The law says you can't carry in as long as there's a building.
I suppose if you're concealed,
but
don't whip it out.
How they would know, but yeah. I mean, you'd have to decide if you'd want to fight that battle or not. But yeah,
right.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's what I thought. Thank you very much. Okay, so Tweety Bird, listen. I'm going to make this very clear. I have put bad guys in jail that have done very, very bad things. I have pissed people off. I piss people off doing what I do. I carry a gun every possible legal place that I can, and I follow the gun laws, specifically stating it's not important to me to have to carry a gun in to vote or not. It is important to me to utilize my Second Amendment, whether you or anyone else likes that or not. I cannot help that. But specifically, I just want to be clear. You understand? It is not specifically important to me. I'm just telling you what a couple people said that. I'm just telling you what a couple people have said, and a couple people have issued and asked this, because this is things that people do care about, and it's brought up. It's resulted in lawsuits before, and so it is something that other people care about. Okay, I want to read this Indiana code. Indiana Code 311-1026. This subsection applies to all counties except for a county to which another code applies. Okay, right? But in our county, this would apply. As an alternative to voting by mail, or a voter is entitled to cast an absentee ballot vote before an absentee voter board and any of the following: one location of the office of the circuit court clerk designated by the circuit court clerk. Okay, so that's got to be there. A satellite office established under section 26.3 of this chapter. This subsection applies to counties to which 365.2 applies. As an alternative to voting by mail, a voter is entitled to cast an absentee ballot before an absentee voter board at any of the following: the office of the Board of Elections and Registration, a satellite office established under Section 226.3 of this chapter, except for location designated under subsection A. One location of the Office of Circuit Court Clerk must be established as a satellite office of this chapter in order to be used as a location at which voter is entitled to cast an absentee ballot before the absentee voter board under this section. A voter must do the following before getting permitted to vote. The subdivision does not apply. Okay, so that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Okay. So essentially what we're having issue with is there is a question on, apparently, I don't know who's got the question. That's why it would be good to have this in front of the election board so we can get this all knocked out. Who has the question on how many satellite offices have to be open? It has to be at least 2. It can be more, but it has to be at least 2. And they're talking about having it at the clerk's office, the field house, the First Presbyterian. To me, that's all the same damn area. First off, it's all the same area. So why don't we get together in a meeting and have the meeting when the majority of the public could be there? So like after 5, say 6:30, have a meeting and discuss this and let people put the information on the record, period. So that's that. But here's the thing. And again, I don't ever leave my gun at home if I can't take it in someplace. I just leave it in the car. You don't have to leave it at home just because you can't carry it into location A. You just take it off, leave it in the car, lock the car up, go inside, come back out, put it on. The bottom line is myself and many other people don't have to worry about that because most polling places you can carry a gun into. There are only a few that you can't. So that's that. So if it's something that's concern, in my opinion, if it's a big enough concern, just don't vote early and go to your regular location. You know, that's not the end of the world. You can figure it out another way. Okay, I want to read through this other code here really quickly. Vote center plan requirements. The plan required by Section 3 of this chapter must include at least the following: the total number of vote centers established, the location of each vote center, the effective date of the order, the following information according to the computerized list as defined by Indian Code as the date of the order, the total number of voters within the county, the number of active voters within the county, the number of inactive voters within the county. For each vote center designated under subdivision 2, number of precinct election boards that will be appointed to administer an election at the vote center. For each precinct election board designated under subsection 5, the number and name of each precinct the precinct election board will administer, consistent with section 13 of this chapter, for the election that is not being held in each precinct of the county. For each vote center designated under subdivision 2, the number and title of the precinct election officers who will be appointed to serve at the vote center. For each vote center designated under subdivision 2, the number and type of ballot variations that will be provided, whether these ballots will be delivered to the vote center before the opening of the polls or printed on demand for voter use. As detailed description of any hardware, firmware, software. We're getting into like crazy stuff. But the bottom line is they have to have the plan all put forward. The plan required by Section 3 of this chapter must include at least the following: the total number of vote centers to be established, the location, the effective date of the order, and the following information according to the computerized list the total number of voters, the active voters, the unlisted voters. So that's the reason why you can't just do it all willy-nilly and vote on it and then decide it after the fact. We've got to do it ahead of time. We need to make this plan. And the bottom line is we need to have a meeting. I don't understand why we're not having a sit-down meeting and trying to do this through email or trying to do this other ways. It's crazy. And I'm calling for that to stop. I would like both of the chairs to direct their appointees to the election board to call a meeting, and this needs to happen soon. Let's do it in the next week. Call a meeting in the next week. Period. Problem solved. All right. That's all I've got to say about that until the next op-ed comes around or until there's another meeting or something like that happens. We'll have to see what goes on from there. All right. Talking about the Delaware County building. Now, I'm going to ask you guys to be really, really good. And I want you to go back in your minds. Go back in your minds. And I might need Kate for 1 second, just because Kate might need to be the audience visually. Are you busy at the moment? Can you pop up here for 1 second? Okay. So I want to ask the public this, and I want the public, the listeners, but I want you, don't answer what, but do you recall a couple months ago me coming on air and telling you guys that right before I went on, I had someone call and give me some very big information, and that I couldn't release it, but I would be working on it. I was going to try to find out if it was true or not. And it was really big. And if this was true, I would think that people would probably lose their minds about it. Do you remember me coming on and doing that about 3 months ago?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. And
because you usually don't like leave people hanging. You usually come out with something.
I don't tease that. I don't like if I tease something, like I'll tease it for a little bit, but I don't tease it and be like, I can't tell you whatever. But I said this was really big. Well, at the time, I was not able to break what the news was because I couldn't find anybody else to give me any other information. And I tried. I went to every one of my sources that was connected to the city, to the county in Muncie and Delaware County, and nobody had
this
anything.
Is city and county information?
City, county, yeah, and city and county information. Yes. So they care too. They're fine. So the thing is, I didn't even know
you didn't
this.
Even tell us that much at that time.
What?
You didn't even tell us it was city and county related.
Yeah. No. I just said
it was a thing.
Yeah, and said that if this is true, it would be really, really big, and I think people would kind of go crazy over it. And so I was thumbing around. Thank you very much. You helped me out. I was thumbing around in the Star Press, as I seldomly do. I try not to be caught dead there, but I was doing what I do in the Star Press. Yeah, Paula, that's what it is. I think you saw my post earlier. So I was reading the Star Press, and of course this is going to act up on me now. Let me try to get this. Okay, here we go. So last night, I was thumbing through the Star Press. I was at my grandparents', and I saw an article by Douglas Walker, and I read this, and I was like, what? So it shocked me because at the time that I had read this, I had not yet listened to the Delaware County Commissioners meeting from yesterday. I had not listened to it yet. But then after I read this, I went back and I listened to the Delaware County Commissioners meeting. And I was really shocked because I didn't see anything about it. I was like, what is this? So, in case you guys haven't read this on your own, I'll put it up here. This says, officials consider moving Delaware County government offices to Justice Center. Now, for those of you that might not know this, so the Delaware County government and the City of Muncie City Hall has always been like really close, connected to each other, just within a couple blocks of downtown Muncie, where most government centers are. That's just common sense. So for people that are not from Muncie or Delaware County, I'm going to put this up on the screen here for you. Just for a second. Try to get this to be a good boy. Okay, we're going to share it like this. Share it like that. So here we go. Here is Delaware County, the City of Muncie. If you go out from here, okay, this is Delaware County. All right, square around here. Okay, Delaware County. Oh, over there. Okay, and Muncie's right here. The Delaware County building is right here, and it used to be one of those amazing old Gothic style courthouses that they tore down in 1968, long before I was born. Absolutely horrible, 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 horrible. And they built the monstrosity that we have there today. And so it was at the corner of Main Street and Walnut. And then in the late 80s, early 90s, they built and that used to be the courthouse and everything. Then they built the Justice Center, which was one block to the north right here. And that contained the sheriff's department, the courthouses, the jail, and the public defender's office, all of that. And then one block to the north of that was City Hall. So you basically had Muncie's government buildings here. And then the FBI building used to be one block to the west, and then offices, and then they moved the FBI building into the Star Financial Bank building here. So basically all of the main city, county, and federal offices were all right here in a line. And then for whatever reason, well, I know why, because it was overcrowded and it was a disaster. But instead of thinking with their heads and actually doing something that made some damn sense, James King and Shannon Henry as commissioners decided to move our court and our justice center from outside of the center of the county seat, right outside of the center of everywhere, and they moved it way out here. Where are we going? Where are we at here? We're too far. They moved it out here, right here. They moved it to right here. This is where it is. They moved it to outside of the city, which is fine, I guess. It's stupid. And they moved it to the southwest side. So, kind of dumb. But here's the thing. When they did this, they didn't do it in such a way that they could put all of the county offices in one building. They once again left a situation where we have all of the county offices in two different buildings. So we've got a clerk's office out here at the jail. We also have a clerk's office up here in the city of Muncie. He's got to run back and forth. There are other offices that got to run back and forth. And it just makes no sense. It truly makes sense to have all of the county offices in one county building. Like, I truly do believe that. But back some time ago, I heard the story that after Dan had, in their opinion, successfully, that's what they said, successfully got the jail and sold it off to the Jennings, and they had turned it into condos, and the citizens, the taxpayers had paid for this for quite some time. And, I don't know if anyone's living there yet or not. I still don't know what's going on with that place. I still don't know what's going on there. Okay. After all of that time, they, I don't, will it be a success? Maybe one day. Is it currently a success? I have no way of knowing that. I don't know anything about what's going on. To my knowledge, they're the Jennings are the only one that actually lives there. I don't know if there's any other people that live up in there or not. Maybe they could tell us. I know that there were some people that went in a while back and did like a walk around, but I've not heard that like, hey, it's open and people are moving in. Matter of fact, the last time I went and looked inside, they were still doing a lot of work on the main level. So I don't know what's going on there. I need to go and poke my head around and take a look. But I just thought, man, if this is true, if Dan is really trying to, finagle this out, if he's working with the county and they're going to take the people out to the Justice Center and totally empty this building out, and he's going to try to get it, and he's going to do all this, like, what are the taxpayers going to be paying for again? What are we going to be doing? Okay. So the article that made me, after all this time, I still knew that news was in the back of my head, but I have yet to be able to convey this to you or to anyone else, because I've not been able to find any information of this. Hold on a second. How long have you been hearing me, Kate? Or have I been on pause? All right, sorry. Okay, I'm good now. Sorry about that. That was crazy. So I've not been able to convey this information to you guys because I have not heard this from anyone, and I've not been able to do anything with this. So when I read this article, okay, when I read this article, sorry, we're having some gremlins here. Bear with me. Last night, I was like, oh yeah, it's here. It's coming. This is it. So it says, officials consider moving Delaware County government offices. Sorry, I'm trying to stop that from happening. It says, officials consider moving Delaware County government offices to Justice Center. Delaware County is 2 years away from celebrating the 200th anniversary of its founding. For the vast majority of the time since the county was organized, the home of the Delaware County government has been the downtown courthouse square, bounded by Main, Jackson High, and Washington streets. That could be changing. In recent weeks, two of the 3 Delaware County commissioners have mentioned the possibility of moving county offices to the Delaware County Justice Center at 3100 South Tillotson Avenue. That facility, a former middle school more than 3 miles southwest of Delaware County building, opened in 2021. It houses the county court system, the sheriff's department, jail, and the offices of the county prosecutor, clerk, public defender's office, and all of that. The county building had stopped being a courthouse about 3 decades earlier when Delaware County courts, jail, sheriff's department moved across Washington Street into the county's first Justice Center. Since the 2021 move, the new Justice Center, the downtown facility, has been renovated and is now a residential building. Now, since the 2021 move, the new Justice Center, the downtown facility, since the move to the new Justice Center, the downtown facility has been renovated and is now a residential building. Now, this is the part that I did not see this last night. At a May 19th meeting, I thought this happened yesterday. I somehow skipped the May 19th meeting. So what I read was that at the meeting, the Delaware County commissioners were discussing renovation plans for the county building when Commissioner Stephen Brand mentioned the possibility of moving government offices to the Tillotson Avenue building. Okay, and at some point, we need to decide how much money we want to put into this building, or do we do something different at the Justice Center? Finish out that space and move this building out there, Brand said. If you want to stay in this building another 50 years, it's going to take $6 or $7 million to fix the mechanical system properly. Brand's remark drew a quick response from Shannon Henry, president of the Board of Commissioners. He said, "I'm not interested in moving out of the building," Henry said. However, political insiders say Henry is unlikely to seek re-election when his present term expires in 2026. A fellow Republican, Matt Kantz, recently announced plans to run next year for the District 3 commissioner seat Henry now holds. The third commissioner, Sherry Riggin, in a recent interview, which I would like to know when that interview was taken and what exactly she said, in a recent interview said there are legitimate reasons involving finances and logistics to consider moving county offices to the Justice Center. She noted that space remains unused in the Tillotson Avenue facility, including the area of the swimming pool, which is now filled in with gravel, that was located in what was then the Wilson Middle School. Brand, a first-time candidate, and Riggin, now in her 4th term as commissioner, won election to a 4-year terms in 2024. The Delaware County building opened in the late 1960s, succeeding a series of courthouses that had stood in the same downtown site since the beginning of time. Okay. Yes. Okay. So Tweety Bird, this is where we're getting back now. So I went through yesterday's commissioners meeting and listened to the whole thing, and I was like, what? This never got brought up. So I went back to the article as I was preparing the show tonight, and I reread the article, and I was like, wait a minute. This was from May 19th. So number one, why is the Star Press just now running news from a month ago? Why is this happening? Why are they over? Today's the 17th. They are 2 days. They are 2 days away from this being a month old. So first of all, that's crazy. But second of all, now we have to look at the game plan here, and we have to look at the gameplay here. What's going on? Who's pulling the strings? What's happening? Because honestly, Dan doesn't have to be the one to buy the building. It could be that the county makes the deal with the Jennings. That would be fine. The same question goes. County taxpayers are going to be footing the bill. We're either going to be footing the bill for things that we didn't quite like with the Justice Center ordeal as Muncie City citizens, or the county building will be doing it, the county government will be doing it, and then Delaware County citizens will be doing it. And we're all Delaware County citizens. We are either, some of us are Muncie citizens, but all of us are Delaware County citizens. So the bottom line here is, like, look, I'm all for a plan that makes sense, but I want it to work. I don't know that it makes sense. Like, I don't know where I am with this. So listening to Shannon Henry, because I did go back and I finally went to the meeting where they were talking about it. I don't know why I still, for the life of me, cannot believe the Star Press is printing month-old news. That's just nuts to me. But I finally went. I went to this, and I'm gonna let you guys hear this. For those of you that have not heard this, happens at 42. Here we go.
It's not in what we have back then. And at some point, we need to decide how much money we want to put into this building, or do we do something different at the Justice Center, finish out that space, and move this building out there? If you want to stay in this building another 50 years, it's going to take $6 or $7 million to fix the mechanical system properly. I'm not interested in moving out of the building. You're not? Mm-hmm.
This is like, asking the man on death row if you can have his umbrella because it's going to rain tomorrow, and he tells you no, but he's going to be dead at midnight. Henry's like, I don't want to do this. Henry, you're not going to be around, bro. What does it matter? So number one, first, why is Henry so put off by that idea? Number one, why would he be so put off by the idea? Because Brand is right. In order to put everything in a way that it needs to be at the current, what I call the Delaware County building, the old Delaware County building downtown, they're going to need to do a lot of work. And it's going to cost a shit ton of money. And I think Brand is right. But at the same time, I want to make sure that Brand is right for the right reasons, and not because he's got some plan worked out with Dan Ridenhour or some plan worked out. And listen, I'm not even shitting on the Jennings. Maybe the Jennings can turn this into a wonderful building and they can sell it and it could be great and we could all live there. But I still need to see that the Justice Center condos make sense before I sign on to being like, okay, this project makes sense. So I'm just letting all of you know, first and foremost, this is something that apparently they talked about on May 19th, but has been hidden from people unless you watch this meeting then. And I don't know how I missed it then, but I missed it then. I thank God, I guess, for the Star Press. That's the first time I've said that. Thank God for them running month-old media, a month-old story, because it finally came to my attention. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is even longer than May 19th, because I'm telling you, this has been being talked about for months. And the person I heard it from was not a county person. It was a city person. And they specifically mentioned Ridenhour's involvement. And so I'm just telling everybody out there that's listening to this, maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe Ridenhour does it. Maybe Brand does it. We'll have to watch out, because now if Kantz gets in, Kantz and Brand will be, and I'm not saying necessarily bad, I'm just saying they will team up. They're going to be the new bros. They're going to be the new bros. Like King and Henry. We'll have to come up with a name for them. I mean, Matt Kantz is Tight Pants Kantz. But I don't know really how that swings with Steven. I don't know. Frickin' frack or something. We'll figure something out for them. But I don't want Kantz and Brand and Dan Ridenhour to turn into the three government amigos. Yeah, no. So, just FYI. We'll be watching this. I'll be watching this. Now that this is out, I will be applying pressure to sources now and trying to get more information now that this information's out here. And we'll be seeing what's going on, because first of all, sounds like it doesn't even need Kantz. If Brand wants to do something, he could get with Sherry and they could strike while the iron's hot, while Sherry's lucid and agreeing with Brand for a change. And Henry could vote no. He just says that, like, just because he says it, that's the final word. Well, no, there's a vote and you can vote no, but if those two people vote yes, tough shit, bro. Aula, who are tight? Who's tight? Dan, Brand, and Matt? Oh, yeah. Dan and Brand are tight. Dan and Brand are tight. Brand and Matt are tight. Matt and Dan are tight. And between the three of those people, they're kind of running the Republican Party. They've got Tim in there as their, figurehead, and they run the show. He won you over how? Because he's also now he continues pushing solar pretty hard. I'm surprised. That's crazy, Tweety Bird. Out of all the crazy things I thought that you could say tonight, that's not one of them that I thought that you would say. That's impressive. What did it that won you over? And I'm not telling you to hate him. He's still doing good stuff. I still like a lot of what he does. I don't trust any of these people. They're all politicians. To me, it's not a Republican-Democrat thing. It's that guy's a politician, that guy's a politician, oh, she's a politician, oh, they're a politician. I don't trust any of them, period. So we'll be following this. I'll continue following this and see what we can get. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that I've been hearing this now for some time, several months ago, and now it's like, oh, so there was something to this, and something is happening here. Well, I need to be taking a look at what exactly is happening. Okay, moving on. We're almost done. Bear with me. We're actually doing pretty good. I'm sad to say, we have to say goodbye to Gabe. Just a couple of hours ago, Mr. Weirdo Gabe Whitley had to report to the his home for the summer. Trying to get this picture pulled up here. Damn it. What? Stand by. It's like I'm having a stroke here. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I knew this existed. I was like, well, all of a sudden it doesn't exist. What's going on? Okay, here we go. Share this tab instead. So he had to turn himself in today at 2 p.m. And there is apparently a little bit of a story that he didn't, something funky happened. No beaches, just bars. Gabriel Whitley's summer of federal time and felony charges. Convicted former congressional candidate Gabriel Whitley will spend much of his summer not on the campaign trail, but behind bars at a federal minimum security prison in Illinois. Whitley, who ran for Indiana's 7th congressional district, losing to a dead woman, mind you, in the 2024 Democratic primary, was convicted, and that's a true story. He was beat by a dead woman. He was convicted earlier this year for filing false campaign finance reports in what would be called the dumbest crime on the face of the planet. According to federal court records, Whitley's misleading disclosures about political donations and spending resulted in a 90-day prison sentence and a 1-year term on probation. His destination today was the Federal Correctional Institution in Thompson, Illinois, a low-level federal prison tucked away in the northwest corner of the state, roughly 150 miles from Chicago and a world away from Capitol Hill. Whitley was ordered to self-surrender by 2 p.m. today, June 17th, 2025. But his journey to incarceration began even before the scheduled report date on June 15th, just 2 days before he was due to turn himself in, when Whitley's monitoring bracelet issued a strap tamper alert around 7:46 a.m., indicating that he had removed the device or it was otherwise compromised. By Saturday afternoon, authorities tracked a monitoring device leaving Indiana and heading toward Illinois, according to records filed by Marion County Community Corrections. It was later traced to a motel near Thompson, which is bizarre because on that very same day, I was watching him recording in Indianapolis at the Weirdo No Kings event, where he was telling people that he was a nonprofit and he was a journalist and he was just running free. It's wild that while he's there in Indianapolis, he's apparently sending by car his bracelet to Thompson, which he legally should not have been doing because he didn't ask them for permission to do that. Truly crazy. By that afternoon, authorities had tracked the monitoring device to the hotel. Whitley had been under pretrial release in Marion County while facing separate state-level charges for intimidation, specifically for allegedly threatening to commit a forcible felony against a lawyer and a political commentator, Abdul Hakim Shabazz. Pretrial release violation triggered a swift administrative response in a memo dated June 16th, which was yesterday. Whitley's case manager informed the court that the defendant was no longer properly monitored and requested further guidance. By the end of the day, the judge in the matter signed a warrant for Whitley's rearrest, and a formal notice of pretrial release violation was also submitted, which will all add to his sentence, I believe. Although Whitley is now in federal custody serving his 90-day plus sentence, his legal troubles are far from over. The Indiana intimidation case remains active, though the previously scheduled July 10th jury trial has been canceled. I'm sure it won't happen until after he's released from federal prison. Depending on how the state charges proceed, Whitley could still face additional penalties beyond the federal sentence. If convicted of intimidation, he could face up to 2.5 years in prison under Indiana's sentencing guidelines for a level 6 felony. What was once a long-shot political campaign has now turned into a series of legal showdowns, first in the courtroom of public opinion and now in literal courtrooms. And the most Gabriel Whitley will be watching and at the moment, Gabriel Whitley will be watching the rest of the summer unfold from behind the fences of FCI Thompson. And what's truly crazy about this, what I think is wild about everything that I just read to you, and anybody that knows anything about Gabe and how he's interacted and what he's been doing over the last 2 years, really, he knows all of this is going on. He knows every bit of this is going on. And yet, yesterday, while wanted, and one day before going into the pokey for 90 days, he posts this on social media. I would rather be a felon lying to the Biden administration than be a known pedophile living at an address, which I'm assuming is Abdul's address. And then he posts, Abdul is a pedo. And then he posts this sign that he had made up of Abdul, which in my opinion is wild slander. And I hope Abdul sues this kid for everything that he's got. I hope this kid does his 90 days. I hope he gets more time. And I hope he gets out just in time to do a jury trial in Indianapolis. And he gets 2 years in prison. This kid is a weirdo. I don't understand what the deal is. He then later post the U.S. government, Marion County, will kill me. It will be covered up. I mean, he's really, 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 really out there. Then he posts a tweet. You will be getting another lawsuit for telling Abdul, your pedophile friend, for leaking court information. Me and my friends know where you live too, bitch boy Mears. And then he posts the prosecutor's home address, a picture of his house. Like, Karma is coming for you, bitch boy Mears. Like, and this kid thinks that he's protected by this under the First Amendment. And I think what the First Amendment protects you with a lot of things, but slander, libel, defamation, and threatening individuals takes it a bit past where I go with the First Amendment. And I am a First Amendment supporter through and through. Tune in to WIBC tomorrow at 11:15 to hear all about it. But this is insane. And what I hate about this more than anything is this kid turns off his comments so he can't get any type of real feedback from any of this shit that he says. So I'm just happy that he's going to be spending time in prison, and we'll see if he mouths off there and how fond they are of his whimsical comments. So goodbye, Gabe. It couldn't be happening to a better person. That's that's all I got to say about it. I think it's fantastic. I love every bit of it. So it's just crazy. Yeah, Tweety Bird. Here's the deal. I mean, specifically posting an address and showing the house and address and map questing it for people and saying, I hope karma takes this bitch boy out or something like that. That's crazy. I think as far as posting like public records for like holding government accountable on their finance reforms, I don't have a problem with that. Now, I will say, anytime I get records, I always block out the address, because the way I look at it is, yes, they're public. Yes, I got them. You are more than welcome to get them, but I'm not going to put something out there that would allow someone else to hurt somebody. If you want to hurt somebody, that's going to be on your deal. It's not going to be my deal. And very seldomly does the address have anything to do with what I'm ever talking about anyway. So I just don't do that. That's just not something that I do. Okay. Just, we've got one more thing to get through and then we'll be done. And, I can't believe it. I can't believe it's only we're only an hour and 42 minutes into this. Okay. So the last thing, and this is a big, big deal. So, specifically for Randolph County, I don't know if people realize or not, but it's been a couple weeks since the big to-do over there. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, of course, I am referring to the arrest on May 27th into the 28th of a person that was, the stories that we were told that the person was wanted by the federal government on serious violent felonies. He was arrested. They took him to the Randolph County Jail. They booked him in at 1 o'clock in the morning. He sat in the jail until the morning. The sheriff came in and they didn't have the warrant, couldn't find the warrant, didn't know what he was there for. And the sheriff released him. After that release, they finally found the warrant. And, you know, it's a bad deal. He should have been released. But the sheriff's saying, hey, I didn't have the warrant. I didn't have the right to hold him, yada, yada, yada. We did a show on it on the 29th. We had the chief of police come on from the other area. I've talked to the sheriff. He's talked to me both on the record and off the record. He gave me a statement, and it hit the fan. A lot of people were interested in this, and a lot of people have been questioning what's going on. I had an anonymous source. I don't even know who this was. Someone reached out to me and asked me if I had seen the actual arrest report of this gentleman. And I said, no, I don't think that I have. And this anonymous source said, you might want to request the arrest document because there's more going on here. So I did that. Anytime someone tells me, I mean, hey, I'm a fool for a record request. So on yesterday, actually, this was yesterday. Yesterday, I reached out to the chief of police of Union City, and I requested any and all arrest reports, initial case reports, supplemental reports relating to the initial traffic stop and arrest of Mauricio Osman Romero. I wish I could roll it. Romero. I can't do the roll, but I wish I could. Mauricio Osman Romero Torres, a possible illegal immigrant from Honduras, on the evening of Monday, May 27th into Wednesday, Monday the 27th into Tuesday the 28th, and all reports by the arresting officer, all reports, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. And so I requested that, and he complied. Okay. It was Tuesday the 27th into Wednesday the 28th. That's right. So I'm going to tell you, well, I'm not going to tell you this now. I'm going to put these copies up, and we're going to read through these. Weird. What is that you sent me, Jackie? Okay. What am I trying to send myself? Bam. 6. Okay. Here we go. Well, I'm going to put these out on social media. You're not going to be able to see this the way that it is, but I'll read it through, and you'll be able to see it enough. And I will put this out on social media so you guys can see it. So this is Union City Police Department. This is the report for incident U25-669. Hey-oh. And it says nature, wanted person, location, UCIP. I think it must be it must be Union City, Indiana. Address, it gives an address where it was. Offense code is warrant, received by Kimberly Young. Responding officers, Malachi Leaves, Thomas Combs. When reported, now, I want you guys to listen to this. It says, when reported, 11:55:36 on May 27th, 2025. When reported, 11:55:36. Occurred between 11:55:29 and 11:59:47. Okay. And then it's just got a bunch of other nonsense. So then from there, we'll go on page 2. This just tells us the date. And now here they list the next date, 5/28/25. I would never have done anything like that. All the dates would have been uniformed. Okay, description, and it says Mauricio Osman Romero Torres. A relationship, says complainant. I don't know why it would say that, but whatever. Okay. Now we go on here to page 3, and this is like a little narrative, a little summary. Union City Police Department arrest report overview. A traffic infraction was observed on a dark-colored Jeep on 5/29/25. Okay, what? Now, they have used 3 dates in this report so far. So straight off the bat, they've used 3 different dates at 3 different junctions in this report. Now, I know that this seems like a stickler. I'm going to tell you, there used to be a judge in Delaware County where when we would take over a search warrant, if we made a spelling error in a search warrant, he would send our ass back across the street to the prosecutor's office and say, fix it. If you did one of those there versus theirs, if you got the wrong there, you know what I mean? Or if you put your and you screwed that up, he would not sign the warrant. He did not play. Your shit was tight, your shit was right, or you didn't get it. Period. When you're dealing with this kind of stuff, specifically when you know it's like a federal warrant, a federal guy, it's kind of a big deal. Seems like you would proofread this stuff. They did not perform a traffic stop on the 29th on this guy, period. They performed the traffic stop on Tuesday the 27th. And they were dealing with him until Wednesday the 28th, but they were not dealing with him on the 29th. And I get it. It's just a little thing, but just keep that in mind. This is how we're already starting out. Performed a traffic stop on a date that was not real. I was able to observe the vehicle driving down the roadway with one headlight. I conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle and identified the individual as Marcio Osman Romero Torres. We'll call him Torres from the rest of the time here. A warrant check was ran by dispatch in regards to Torres. Showing, now listen, this is his summary. Showing he had an active federal warrant. Torres was taken into custody and transported to the Randolph County Jail, where he was left in the care of the jail staff. Okay? All right. Now, we go on to the actual big summary, the big report. And this is where it starts to get interesting. Here it says, date and time, Wednesday, May 28th, 1:30 a.m. These dates and times are all over the place. Gives the location. Arresting officer is Malachi Levquez or whatever this dude's name is. Malachi and Combs. A suspect was Torres. Charge was a warrant. Homeland Security. Night shift. So they're working 7 to 7. Now, narrative. Initial stop. While patrolling eastbound on West Chestnut Street, I observed a vehicle with a headlight out driving westbound. I turned around and conducted a traffic stop on that vehicle within the 200 block of West Chestnut before coming to a stop at 304 West Chestnut. Contact with the driver. Upon making contact with the driver of the vehicle, I had to make contact with an interpreter due to a language barrier. The male was identified. So straight away, he needed to get an interpreter because there was a language barrier. So keep that in mind. The male was identified as Marcio Osman Romero Torres. Torres stated that he was driving to a friend's house in town. I was able to see the map on his phone that he was following, which showed that his destination would be in 2 minutes away at the time. Torres stated that he believed the headlight on the vehicle had just gone out prior to the stop. Torres was only able to provide a Honduras driver's license along with a passport. I returned to my patrol car with vehicle with Torres's identification. Patrolman Combs was given permission from Torres to search the vehicle. Upon searching the vehicle, Patrolman Combs did not locate any illegal weapons or additional illegal items in the vehicle. Information from dispatch. I was able to run a warrant check on Torres by using his name and date of birth. Dispatch advised me that Torres' name and date of birth had a federal warrant for several violent felonies attached to it. Dispatch advised me that they were unavailable to obtain definite information showing that the warrant was for the individual that I was in contact with. What? Dispatch advised that Torres' name and date of birth had a federal warrant for several violent felonies attached to it. And then in the very next sentence, he says, dispatch advised that they were unable to obtain definitive information showing that the warrant was for the individual that I was in contact with on my traffic stop. I don't understand that. That's like me saying it's nighttime, period. It's daytime, period. I don't understand that. So, glaring problem number one. Let's move on. Dispatch continued to make additional efforts to validate the search warrant associated with Torres. Dispatch was able to make contact with an individual from the Department of Homeland Security. In doing so, additional information regarding Torres was able to be located. Oh, okay, everything's much better now, right? Information from the Department of Homeland Security. Officers remained on scene with Torres while dispatch communicated with the Department of Homeland Security. Why? Why was the Department of Homeland Security not immediately directed to the police? The officer on scene should have been doing that, not dispatch. Okay? Dispatch advised me that the individual had a match with the middle name that was given as well. The lack of information provided by Torres made the confirmation of the warrant difficult to obtain. DHS was able to send a photo they were in possession of that they believed to be Torres. The photo did not match the individual on the traffic stop with me. What? What? What is going on? The photo did not match the individual on the traffic stop. I was advised to wait for additional information. Yeah, no shit. Yeah. Dispatch was able to transfer a worker from DHS identified as Nick Patton to my cell phone during the incident. Patton advised that Torres' records showed that he had owned a blue Toyota sedan in 2020, which could help identify him. What? Anybody owned a blue Toyota in 2020? You're wanted on a felony federal warrant. Patrolman Combs was able to confirm from Torres, who didn't speak English, I said that, not them, that he owned a blue Toyota in 2020, but he had sold it. This assisted officers in connections to Torres and the warrant, but we were still deemed not deemed enough to arrest Torres at this point. Additional contact with Patton was set to happen after I contacted a supervisor regarding the situation. Yeah, this is all kinds of iffy. I was able to contact a supervisor, and in doing so, I obtained the approval to arrest Torres. Oh, okay. Pending a confirmed warrant check done by dispatch. Prior to arresting approval, however, I was sent an email by dispatch containing Torres' arrest warrant. A photo identification within that email connected to the warrant gave officers enough probable cause to arrest Torres. I was able to contact Patton from DHS, informing him of this decision. Patton stated that he would advise the proper individuals needed to eventually pick Torres up from the Randolph County Jail. Closing, I was able to transport Torres to the Randolph County Jail after receiving confirmation from the Randolph County Dispatch regarding his arrest warrants. Legitimacy. Torres was transported to the Randolph County Jail on federal warrant, where he was left in the care of the jail staff. And then the officer signs it, and that's the last thing. Now, a couple of other things that we need to know about this, and this is real important. The traffic stop on this individual took place at 9:50 p.m. The traffic stop took place at 9:50 p.m. The first email that they got that said this is not him did not occur until 11:08 p.m. So an hour and 10 minutes, basically. Then the second email didn't come until 11:50. So, okay, 11:50 p.m., they decide to arrest this guy. Let's do this. Let's do this. Randolph County Jail address. Randolph County Jail address. Randolph County, Indiana Jail address. All right, 155 East South Street, Winchester. Okay. We'll take that. Put that in there. 304 Chestnut, Union City, Indiana. Let's see how long it takes to get from these locations. I mean, I know how long. I want to have the I want to have this map here so we can know for sure. Okay. So, the start point, okay, to 155. Randolph County Jail. Okay, here we go. Drive. $14 minutes. It's 10 miles. So you guys can see here, it's 14 minutes. Now, if you were a law enforcement officer driving with a wanted suspect in the back and you wanted to get there a little faster than 14 minutes, I'm sure you could probably do that. There's been times I've driven a little faster with a person in the car to just get to the jail and get him out of my hair. At the time that they got the okay to transport this guy, or the kind of okay, it was 11:50. They booked this guy into the jail at 1:06 a.m. So that means after they found out that, okay, we're arresting this man at 11:50 p.m., they had possession of him until 12:50 a.m., 1 hour, 1 hour and 10 minutes, 1 hour and 16 minutes. It took them 1 hour and 16 minutes. Where were they at in that time? Why is this so screwy? When he says the warrant was emailed to him, and they are, I didn't know, but apparently looking at the emails at the scene, why was a warrant not left at the jail? I just got to ask that. That's a serious question. That's a serious question. Now, our Attorney General, being our Attorney General of the state of Indiana, Todd Rokita, a giant tool bag, released a press release about this. Illegal alien release from Randolph County Jail highlights the need for better compliance with Indiana laws, says Attorney General Todd Rokita. Rokita is providing new guidance to Indiana sheriffs on their obligation under Indiana anti-sanctuary law following the improper release of an illegal alien from the Randolph County Jail. When Indiana law enforcement agencies encounter illegal aliens wanted for immigration-related crimes or civil violations, they cannot limit their cooperation with federal authorities, Rokita said. In this case, the release of this criminal alien should never occurred. As the state's top legal officer, Attorney General Rokita is responsible for enforcing the state's anti-sanctuary laws implicated in the Randolph County incident. Attorney General Rokita has brought lawsuits against the sheriffs of Monroe and St. Joseph counties over their policies and practices of refusing to cooperate with federal immigration authorities. That is not what's happening here. Art might be a Randolph County sheriff's deputy that turned sheriff, and it might not be the big city, but he's a Republican. He's not against this. Okay. For the time being, he has issued warnings to other agencies that have committed violations mistakenly rather than deliberately and willfully. By issuing new guidance, Attorney General Rokita is ensuring that all sheriffs are on notice about their obligations and that mistaken violations of state law will be less likely to occur. The improper release of a wanted criminal alien likely would not have happened, and the Indiana State Senate had the Indiana State Senate Judiciary Committee chairwoman done her job and passed House Bill 1531 like Hoosiers wanted, and the General Assembly wanted the General Assembly to do. Attorney General Todd Rokita said Senator Liz Brown had an opportunity to add clarity and teeth to the current provisions, which would have helped keep Indiana communities safer and given sheriffs reassurance about their authority to cooperate with federal immigration officers. On May 28th, Randolph County Jail released Torres after only 7 hours. Torres, an illegal alien, is wanted by federal authorities for multiple felonies, including alleged hostage-taking. Facts discovered by a Union City police officer who took Torres to the jail following the traffic stop. Attorney General Rokita said, under well-settled federal and state law, a jail can maintain custody of an individual who the jail knows is the suspect of a federal arrest warrant for 48 hours. That's only for what it takes to give them the warrant. If the warrant was there, if they're saying they had this, they should have had that, and it should have been there. I now look at that differently. The 48-hour rule is for if I arrest you and I'm trying to build probable cause on you, like if I arrest you for murder right now and it takes a minute, you got 48 hours. At the end of the 48 hours, prosecutors can request an additional 72, but they got to go before the court. But when it's just a warrant, there were no other charges. The warrant would have been all that it took. But where was the warrant? And what was all the goofiness going on with this arrest? He added that if a sheriff was to deliberately adopt a policy or practice of releasing individuals in circumstances like those that occurred in Randolph County, he would be in violation of Indiana law. The guidance the Attorney General Rokita sent to the sheriffs explaining what the sheriffs are permitted to do with respect to the detention of illegal aliens and individuals wanted for immigration crimes, as well as what the sheriff's department are prohibited from doing under state law. He made that clear. Clear legal guidance on these matters will help sheriffs keep their county safe. And so, like, number one, I want to be very clear. I am not somebody that is out here going, oh, let him go, let him go, let him go. Look, if you're here illegal, go on with your bad self. Right on back, and let's help you do it. Sign me up, deputize me, here I come. But I don't know what's going on in Randolph County, and I think that there needs to be a bigger look at what's happening here. I don't understand what's happening with this situation. Making a traffic stop at 9:50 and not booking the person until 1:06 is crazy, is real crazy. But knowing that you're told that you could arrest him at 11:50 and not booking him for an hour and 16 minutes is crazy. It's real crazy. Just some stuff that we found out as we continue to look into this and more information continues to come along. There's a lot more that I need to do with this, and of course I will continue doing more with this. As we get more information, I will continue going back and forth on what's happening here, and we will bring it to you. The only last thing I'm going to say, and we're going to go right now, is I posted today on both my Twitter and Facebook. And if you want to see this, if you don't know, you can find those right here. You can find my X account, and you can find the Political Spotlight's Facebook page, as well as my personal, which I also use as the Political Spotlight. I posted the charging information for a man that used to be a school board member. He was an elected school board member, so he was a politician, at least at one point. And then he was asked to step down from that. And then since then, he has been running the Strand Theater in Shelbyville. He was arrested today, and he's been charged with his exact crimes are count 1, sexual exploitation of a minor victim, number 1, and possession of child pornography. There is a 27-page charging affidavit on my Twitter page, Bilbrey Live, and on my Facebook, and on the Political Spotlight's Facebook. If you're interested, if you hate shit like this, if you like keeping yourself involved and informed, go there and read it. But please, please, please understand, Reader, be warned, it is graphic, like extreme erotic nastiness where an adult male is talking to two juveniles. So please understand that it is sensitive. So keep that in mind. And just, if you want to see that, you can see it there. I had somebody ask me in a page, he wasn't like, hey, this is gross, why are you posting this? I shared it in a group, and he said, this has nothing to do with my city. Why do I care about this? And I'm like, well, it's in your state. It's a federal charge. And if you don't understand why this stuff should be shared and why we should protect children and know stuff, it was very wild. I had a really bizarre back and forth with him. So very gross. All right. I appreciate it. We've covered a lot. Thank you all very, very, very much. We would have been out of here before 2 hours had I not had Katherine on. So I blame it on her. Thank you all very, very much. We'll see what goes on. We got a busy week ahead of us still. Sorry for not being here last night. We'll try to make it up on the back end. You guys take care. God bless. Hit the like button before you leave. That would be fantastic. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a good Wednesday. And be sure to tune in at 11:15 tomorrow, 93.1 WIBC. We'll also play it tomorrow evening or have it on the channel. For those of you that can't hear it, take care. Good night. Goodbye. Goodbye.